The siege begins. Constantinople was the capital of the once powerful Byzantine Empire. However, by the time of its demise, the empire consisted of just the city of Constantinople and some lands in southern Greece. The Ottoman army began to lay siege to the city on April 2nd, 1453, on the orders of Turkish Sultan Mehmed II. The city's defenders, numbering around 7,000 soldiers, were massively outnumbered by the 80,000 Turkish soldiers. From mid-May to the 25th of May, Ottoman soldiers attempted to dig tunnels under the walls of the city in order to get in. However, the Byzantines were able to find the tunnels due to the aid of an engineer, and all of the tunnels were discovered and destroyed. New technology. The Ottomans had brought with them many cannons, one of which was called the Great Turkish Bombard, and which was meant to blow apart the city's thick walls. The cannon took over 200 men and 60 oxen to drag into position, and another 200 men were assigned to clear a path for the gun to be pulled through. The cannon was able to fire over the distance of a mile, but was inaccurate. Also, it took 3 hours to reload. So, while the Ottomans were busy reloading their cannon, the city's defenders were able to repair most of the walls that had been hit. The cannon eventually collapsed after several weeks due to its own weight. Omens of defeat. On May 22nd, the moon, the symbol of Constantinople, had an eclipse, apparently fulfilling a prophecy on the city's demise. 4 days later, on the 26th, the city was covered in a thick fog, which was unknown in the city in May. When the fog lifted later that evening, a strange light was seen around the dome of the city's cathedral. Some thought that the light around the dome was the Holy Spirit departing from the cathedral, and many of the city's defenders became demoralized. The fall of the city. On May 28th, preparations were made for the final assault on the city, and the Byzantine emperor held a final mass at the city's cathedrals. To quote, Constantine told his soldiers that the great assault was about to begin. He urged them to remember that they were the descendants of the heroes of ancient Greece and Rome, and to be worthy of their ancestors. End quote. Shortly after midnight, the Ottomans rushed the walls. The first wave of the attack was made up of poorly trained and equipped recruits, who were meant to kill as many of the Christian defenders as they could. They were repulsed, and the Ottomans sent in a second wave to attack walls that had been damaged by the Great Bombard. The fight there was fierce, but the defenders repulsed the Ottomans here also. The final wave of Ottoman troops, the elite Janissaries, were held up for a short time before being killed. The Byzantine emperor and his soldiers were holding off the Ottomans at another point in the walls, but other defending soldiers were slowly being beaten back. When one of the gates to the city, the Kerkaporta gate, was opened, the Ottomans rushed in and raised the Turkish flag. The sight of the flag demoralized the defenders, and many of them began to retreat. The defense line collapsed, and the Ottomans swarmed in, killing many of the Byzantine soldiers in hard hand-to-hand street fighting. The Byzantine emperor was killed while leading a final desperate charge against the Ottomans. The effects of the fall of Constantinople. The city became the new capital of the Ottoman Empire and was renamed Istanbul. The city's cathedral, the Hagia Sophia, was changed into a mosque, and many of the city's inhabitants had fled the city before the siege had begun and brought with them knowledge and writings to Italy and the rest of Europe, which helped to start the Renaissance. So, the death of an empire allowed the birth of the Renaissance. The end.